Okay, so
Penis.
we're back again for another week. No maturity, nothing gained. Right.
Ever.
So at the end of last week, you guys,
Nothing can be gained unless something of equal value is lost, Graham. Everything
Uh-huh.
knows this.
It's basic transmutation.
yeah. So last week, you guys met an old man, spoke with him, and then went to a lumber mill and blagged your way through the shittest security ever to get your hand on information.
Expertly blagged our way.
Yep. You then went to the forest and found some shit there. And then you all kind of met up after giving the old guy, Mr. Barnes, the stuff the information you were given from the lumber mill to decode because it was like encrypted. So you've kind of like just met up after doing your various tasks, and you're kind of just outside the town, like kind of where the forest meets the lumber mill meets meets the town, like that kind of like edge of everything. So what are you guys doing?
I think we were about to go and chat to the fucking. Well, I was about to go and try and find the people in the wood.
Yeah,
So
we
we're
were
not
going
Hakon?
to follow the tree platforms further into the forest and see what we can find, with an intention of finding the people of the forest.
Now that we've joined up with Thonan and
We haven't got their name or anything. We just know that they're the tears. Was it
Eyes.
the eyes? That's the one. Yeah, the eyes. I'm going to make an assumption that that's not their real name, but yeah, the eyes.
Might be.
smart assumption.
There was the full name that was given by the kind of like rough translation or rough kind of encryption or decryption that was done was that they seem to be referred to as the eyes in the forest.
The eyes in or the eyes of?
In.
In. Okay. So yeah, I believe that we were going to try and either have me or Soulsby up the top of the tree, tracking them, whilst the others either probably followed us from the ground. I would say probably easier if they followed from the ground.
Cool.
I'd say you're probably the better tracker. That would make
Okay.
more sense.
So
Like I could get up the trees, but I'd be pretty useless once I was there.
makes sense, Jonas. Makes sense. So Hakon will turn and kind of indicating Neshoba to follow Jonas, and then try and climb up the tree again.
Cool. So you guys like head back into the forest and go back to
Yeah.
where you originally
We
climbed
found
up.
that first tree that we climbed.
Perhaps picking an easier tree to climb because the first one you climbed up was kind of.
Oh, I was meaning the one that's got the platform at the top.
Yeah. So you know where you're going exactly this time. Okay, so you climb up the top, and before you already kind of like laid out the path of where you can see so far. So at this point, you're kind of like jumping from like branch to branch, just trying your best to kind of stay on the top of the trees and follow this kind of roughly laid out path to the other end. Now, I thought of a few ways of doing this, whether or not I was going to like make you roll checks every now and again, or whether I was going to make you like do all this kind of stuff. And honestly, it wouldn't serve to any purpose other than just to waste time and cause problems.
Yeah, of course.
So-
Also, I mean, like Neshoba would be able to follow me by scent, so like they'd be able to.
Well, it's more just the fact
Track
that
down
it was
easily.
it was more just like you falling and you knowing where
Yeah,
to go
of course,
was
yeah.
the two things I was going to think. But there's not really much point in doing that. So we'll just have you
sure
kind
you
of
can
continue.
climb
We'll,
trees.
we'll have you continue for now. There might be some points where you've got to kind of like work your way through. But
Survival checks and all that.
cool. So you guys are heading through into the forest. You're kind of following on Hakon's lead. He's kind of just above you in the trees and going between these different platforms. As you kind of head deeper and deeper in, you start to lose sight of the town and the kind of like lumber mill area that was outside, and you're getting quite deep in to the point where the trees start to kind of overlap so much that all you can see around you is just forest. It's just forest for everywhere. You travel for kind of a decent amount of time, like probably about an hour or so, just following these paths. At times you kind of get a wee bit lost and might head down like, or maybe kind of split off into like multiple paths, and you head down one just to find it's like a dead end, or it leads further out towards the town again, and like you just got to kind of like trail them back as if it's some kind of like almost like a kind of spider web thing of just working your way all the way back to the center. But yeah, eventually you kind of work further and further in until you come cut them up to what is a kind of like a large clearing in the trees, and it's the last platform that you're on leads out into this clearing.
Okay. Is it? Continue.
If you could roll me a perception check just now.
Perfect.
Just Porno or all of it?
Just Porno. He's up in the trees, so he's kind of first to see it.
Where's my perception? 24.
Cool. So, it's a very large kind of clearing area. It doesn't look as if any trees have been forcefully cleared, like chopped down to create it. So it looks as if it's a kind of like natural clearing. You can see that the area is kind of sparse of anything. There's like some bushes and some kind of like there's no kind of like obvious things in the area. There's a kind of slight stream that goes through the center of it. But there you can see on the ground there's lots of kind of areas where the grass has been kind of worn away. So it's like there's no kind of like grass in those areas, and you would know from basically any time you've been setting up a camp that something has been set up here for a while.
That's how I've lived my life. So I'm assuming that I would know that quite well.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it looks as if it's been taken down and they've either moved on or they...
Does it look like it's been taken down recently, or...?
You can't really tell from this distance.
Okay.
It's kind of...
I'll do a check when I get slightly closer.
Cool. But yeah, that's...
Excellent.
But looking about, you can kind of see all round, and you kind of notice that leading in to this clearing from a couple other areas is more of those platforms.
Okay.
So it looks as if this is a kind of like place where they all either start or end.
Is there a rough amount of like how many platforms are around the clearing?
There's like 4 or 5 more from where you are.
Perfect.
So they kind of lead out. They look as if they've got quite a lot of it covered.
So they basically just spiral out from this central point, or what we're going to assume is the central point just now. Mm-hmm. Okay. Perfect. So I'd probably climb down the tree at this point to meet the others at the edge of the clearing.
Okay.
Am I just allowed to do that? Yeah. Yeah, is that good?
Yeah.
Perfect. So I'd climb down and say I've seen many platforms branching off from the centre. We should maybe try and go into where the camp was carefully, see if we can find some tracks leading off to which direction they went in.
Sounds like a good plan, Hakon. You'd be the man for that, I assume.
Okay. Maybe it would be best if Mira and Thonan stayed in the tree line in case things are not as they seem and we need some support.
Fine with me. I fucking hate trees.
Perfect. So I would then indicate in the show to follow me, and I would carefully go in towards the middle of the clearing, towards where I saw the worn out grass.
Yeah. So you're just going to head up to it and have a closer look at it.
Yeah, I want to have a closer look. Can I have a bit of an inspection, see if I can see how recently the camp was broken. If I can see if there's any like wagon tracks or any foot tracks away from the camp that look fresher than the others, for to try and work out which platform they went to most recently.
Okay. So yeah, as you kind of get closer, if you can roll me a survival check just to kind of get a rough idea of what's going on.
If this is a camp of humans, I get a +2 to that.
Right. Well, you're fine. So
You might know.
you know pretty much. Yeah. So you know that within the last probably couple of days, this was used as their kind of like main encampment. A lot of the kind of burn marks and stuff on the ground from where there was like campfires. There's still kind of like stones that are laid out for where the campfire was made. There is not that many markings on the ground in terms of like drag marks or anything moving away, but you can definitely see that there was there's like kind of imprints of stuff that was large enough to be either like carts or something they're using to basically just move their equipment about the place.
Yeah.
Or move their stuff about. But like it's not as if it's like a large kind of like thick cart. They're like kind of a lot thinner and a lot smaller.
Yeah,
so,
it's more wheelbarrow-ish than...
Yeah, you would expect it to be like a few of them and they would move them through the trees easier than try to move one big cart.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you can tell that, within the last couple of days they've moved out, and you can't tell exactly the path they went down, but you can narrow it down to like one or two, and it's definitely in the kind of southeast direction.
Okay. So I'd probably beckon the others from the tree line to come out.
Hang on, can I? I'm gonna.
Graham, as a point of reference, when you say that's in a southeast direction, have we come from like a northwest direction?
You guys have
Right,
came.
start to draw it, so that's fine.
No, wait, no, wait. What did I say? No, hang on. Not southeast, because you guys came from the southeast.
Okay.
Northwest.
Where would I have it?
Fuck that baby.
Southwest, yes. So it's they're down. Yeah, you guys came from. How did I do an arrow? Or just a ruler? Fuck it. So you guys came from like this way, and they headed out in this kind of direction. So
Awesome.
Okay.
roughly there is, if I kind of quickly mark it. So you guys came from this one.
Okay.
There's one here,
Do you have other colours?
one here. So that's all the different like.
So we're looking at like this one.
Yeah,
and this
one of those two is
Yeah.
where they're
Okay,
going
perfect.
from. Okay, so where are so Mira and Thonan? You are currently kind of like in this kind of area, just in the tree line.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Or at least that's where we left them.
Okay. So Thonan, can you roll a perception check? And actually, Jonas, I think you'd get one as yeah. You can roll one as well. But Jonas, just Hakon. You're busy like expecting
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
so you're-
obviously. Yeah.
Cool, just give me a sec. 18, G.
Okay. As you're kind of like standing in the camp, kind of looking about the place, you kind of look down. So like Hakon's kind of like just looking about the place, and you're kind of like looking around, and you look down each of the kind of paths in turn, and down one of them, which is this one. If I can fucking ping it, Jesus!
Just use the ruler.
I'm trying to just do the ping thing, but it's selecting selecting the whole thing. Right there, that area.
Okay.
Right. So
Yep.
down there, you think you see something moving, but you're not too sure.
I stealth.
You instantly just stealth in the middle of an open clearing.
Well, no, I'd move like towards like the
A
nearest
bush.
group of trees and then like stealth up.
Okay, so
I
you're
wouldn't just be like, I wouldn't just freeze me like. They can't see me
okay.
now.
So Jonas goes behind like a nearby bush and just kind of like hides behind it. So roll your
I'd
stealth.
like tap Hakon as I go past and be like,
Just feel like you can't see me.
no,
wait,
because I
he was
wander
Just do this to him, and then we pass.
off. Yeah, just. Do you want me to roll for
Yeah, roll your stealth check.
that? Give me a sec.
I want you to roll a 1. Just so you walk past Hagon's like, what are you doing?
Why are you waving your hand?
Oh, really?
I think I'm alright.
God damn
I just
it.
disappear.
Right. Okay.
Jesus.
So
Gee.
so yeah, you
I don't even go to the trees.
no, you don't. You just go behind. You go like next to a bush and just kind of like slink behind it slightly.
Hold a branch in front of
Okay,
your face.
so you guys are kind of you spent a wee bit of time in this kind of clearing area, just looking about, and Hakon is now just confused of why Jonas has just wandered off and disappeared. Never to be seen again.
Can I wander up like towards that clearing?
Towards where you saw stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
I don't want to like just fucking crack on though. Like go to like where I could like get a better view.
Yeah, if you go to the kind of like closer towards it, you can go towards the kind of edge of the trees. Okay. So you start kind of heading up slightly. As you approach, you can see that there's a couple of like not so much animals, but like just kind of small wildlife, just kind of wandering about the place. There's a couple like a deer and some other stuff that's just moving about. Like as you kind of look at the clearing, it kind of opens up. Like the path goes down and then opens up slightly. I'm going to draw again. I'm going to go well. Choose a nice brown colour. So it goes down like, and it kind of just opens up like that. So kind of like a kind of open path that goes down. You can just see kind of like deer and some other animals just walking about the place. Nothing really too interesting.
Damn it.
Um,
I wasted 20 on a deer.
but
damn it.
yes, at that point, Can I? How am I going to do this properly now? Because you're just fucking invisible. Well, Hakon, you've kind of been you've kind of been left out in the middle of nowhere. So roll a reflex save at a -2.
Okay.
Sorry, porno.
If only the person that was actually looking about had stayed.
15.
15. Okay, so you get like you kind of just hear this kind of like wind whistling kind of coming towards you, and you happen to just like sidestep slightly, and an arrow just pings past and lands in the dirt behind you. However, you notice that it doesn't look as if it's like a normal kind of like sharp tip arrow. It looks as if it's got like a kind of large cartridge in the top of it. So and basically when it hits into the ground, it just kind of like dunts off it. But it looks as if like if it had hit something kind of like square on, it would have ejected something. You've probably seen these before, and they're used for kind of like hunting, and it's just like a kind of arrow. It's just like a kind of like net that's held into the arrow. So when it hits it, it just kind of like goes around it.
I would try and scoop up the arrow and then run towards the closest tree line, doing like a zigzag.
Okay, so another arrow gets fired close to you. Roll another reflex. This time you've not got the -2. Oh, okay. So this arrow like catches you as you're running away. It like catches you on the back, and the net just kind of like swarms, like goes right round you, and you fall to the ground with this net on you.
Okay.
So at this point, we're going to roll initiative for I think the first time.
Yeah.
So, right, give me a second to get. How would you get the initiative table up, Will? Is it just?
It's the little fucking...
The clock.
It's on your... It's on your...
There we go.
thing,
Turn
it's
orders up.
How do we do this though, considering we don't have like tokens and shit?
I've got 17.
If you roll, I'll add it.
Okay.
We'll do it in our minds, Soulsby.
I got a 12.
Okay.
What?
Although, Will, I don't think they know you're there either.
Damn it.
You don't.
No, you just roll initiative anyway, though.
It's a good fucking deal.
Okay, so Jonas, you got a 12. Typing it in apparently doesn't work. It just adds the label, and then I need to like type it afterwards. So whatever.
That's annoying.
Thonan did really well. To be fair, you've got a +7. That's pretty.
Yeah, I know, but I got a nat 1.
Yeah. Okay, so
I failed to initiate.
I don't know.
In the opposite order.
I don't know how. Hang on, I'm just going to call him.
Lowest bonus to highest bonus.
You can do ascending, descending, and stuff on the table.
Okay, I'm just going to call them eyes, or eye.
Aye.
Yeah,
Oh my god, there's quite a few of them.
4 of them.
Of course there are.
Okay, so I'm going to roll their initiatives. Oh Jesus Christ, this is not going well already. Okay, so that's the first one. So he did well.
Jesus.
He did not so well.
Did I bring a book? I did.
And oh, damn. Okay, so one of them did badly.
Free action porno.
Okay, how do I sort? There. Cool. So, yeah, you basically get pinned into the ground, and as you kind of like you're fumbling with the net, you can see some figures moving out.
Fumbling with the net.
You know, you're just sitting there, just being like, "I'm fine."
No. I have a very, very distinct plan of how I'm getting out of this net.
Okay, so yeah, as you do that, you see the people kind of emerging, and can I draw a?
Where did they emerge from, Graham?
That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to try and draw.
Okay, sorry.
I'll do little boxes.
Oh.
Okay, we're doing this. Okay, there's a little. That's a horrible color.
Oh, here's my short book. Excellent.
Okay. Okay, so there's one there, one there, one there, and one of them is here. And porno.
It did not come from where I saw stuff.
No,
Where am I?
you're like here.
Okay.
So yeah, I should probably have tokens for this, but we're just gonna have little markers for it. So fuck it.
Okay.
How do I? Yeah, there we go. So, Forno, you get to be pink.
Wait.
Yes.
Soulsby. No. Okay, that's now Soulsby because he's pinky. You're yellow.
I am.
Yeah. Actually, hold on. Forno, you're green. We're using WoW colours and we're going to stick to it, so shut up. Don't worry, guys. It's fine.
This is professional.
Yeah, man. There's going to be a problem between the two in the trees because one's light blue, one's dark blue. But fuck it. Okay.
I'm kind of in the trees as well, though. I would assume. Or am I?
No, you didn't actually go into the tree line. You're just kind of hiding in that kind of center area.
Okay.
But right, so basically,
I'm still pretty invisible, though.
yeah, one of the guys heads that way, and then that guy heads to there. What happened there? I clicked the arrow to go next, and it's added them. What is it doing? Why is it gone to 34? What the hell is going on with this?
Someone's at 29 now as well.
Yeah. Forno, what did you have? 17.
17.
Right.
It was an 18 and two 17s. Well, an 18, a 17, and then me.
Okay. How do I skip? Like, there's an arrow that I thought meant like go to the next person, and it was just
William?
Will, how do you? What does this arrow do? How do I go to the next turn?
The next turn,
Yeah.
pretty sure it's there's a little button that you can just click to descend.
Yeah, I did that, and it added them all together.
That's odd.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
Because I can't fucking see it, because obviously I'm not on a GM screen.
Yeah, I press it and it just adds them. What?
Because they're the same name.
No. Oh, hang on. I think I might know why.
Well, they might also be the same name, because mine last time, when I do it, I have tokens assigned to them, so you can assign each individual.
Yeah, I think I know why it's done it. Is this it now? Nope. It's put it to the bottom, but it has given you a lot.
It's doubled mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's doubled.
Just
mine.
have it all up, and we'll remember where we are.
Okay, so basically they've both moved. It's now Hakon. Go.
You can just,
Okay, so I would activate my wrist sheath and pull my kukri, like flick my kukri out into my hand and start cutting through the rope
Okay.
because it's a dagger.
Cool. So you can manage to do that. You'll kind of. It's quite.
The unsheathing my weapon's a free action, so I would spend a full turn action cutting my way out of this net.
Cool. So it's kind of the next looks as if it's made of like stripped and really like finely tightened like vines and stuff, or like some kind of like natural looking thing, and it's done quite tightly and quite thingy. But you can probably work your way through it. If not this turn, like you'll be freed next turn and be able to move out of it.
Yeah.
So you can like finish cutting it and then move.
Yeah.
Okay. So it is now the next one's turn, and he is this one. He's going to move to like here. They're basically just trying to like slowly move around you. So basically, as you can kind of like have a look around and see these guys as you're like cutting your way out, they look similar to you in the way that they're dressed, very kind of like nomadic, but they're a lot more heavily dressed with like kind of leaves and kind of like more kind of. They look more like attuned to like nature than anything else. So it's kind of like very heavily druidic looking in the way that they're dressed, but they've got a very kind of similar nomadic look to you. Cool. So it's now Jonas because I don't really want to just press next on the thing. I'm just gonna.
Not whoever had 16, rather.
Yeah, he moved. He just moved there.
Okay, sorry. Can I just like move round the back to like? Is this gonna ping? Like there? Can I? I know that's quite far away. Can I just use all my move to do that like stealthily?
Do you move at full movement speed while stealthed? I'm gonna say no because I think you need to take a thing for that.
I've got 30 feet though, so 15.
Yeah, you can go 30. So if
5,
you go 15,
15.
you're probably getting to like here. Actually, you're probably not even getting to that. It's 15 feet. This is pretty big clearing. This is not done at scale. You can get to like we'll say.
Oh right, shit. Sorry.
Yeah.
Can I use my full move to get to like here?
No, not that far.
But that's double 15, so that'll be about right.
He is right. That is double where you just put him.
Yeah.
Or if it's
I'm
not
just,
skill, it's not
I'm just
skill,
trying to think.
fine with
I'm
that.
just trying to think how big it is because this is saying 35 feet, but it's probably double
I
that.
just want to be behind them.
Yes, you
in
can
some
move. You
description.
can move to
Just move me 30 feet, and
Yeah.
so I'm behind.
because we're not accurate. It's all on our minds. You just got to kind of.
Yeah,
okay.
no, I get that, but like, so you know roughly how
Yeah.
big
So
this clearing is.
next turn you could be within attacking range when you
Yeah,
move.
cool.
Okay, so
Fine by me.
Thonan, it's now you.
Cool. Do. This isn't. Oh yeah, this isn't to scale. Which circle am I?
You're the light blue.
Friday. How far apart are these people spread?
About 10 feet ish. Those two are probably closer together. Like these two are probably closer together, but
Cool. I'm guessing I'm probably only going to be able to get these kind of guys, but I'm going to cast sleep.
on those three.
Yes.
Okay, what's the saving throw on it?
It is a will, and I'm imagining what level am I? 3. Hold on.
What level's the spell? Because it'll be based on that.
First level, so 10 plus.
Your
caster
whiz
level plus spell
plus your
level,
mod.
plus my int mod.
Yes. So it'll be
So-
like
That's caster level is 3, spell level is 1, so that's 14 plus my int mod, which is 4.
18.
can't be 18 and a level 1 spell.
Well, you're either adding a mod that you shouldn't be.
Yeah, what was the? You don't add the caster level to it.
Okay, so.
So it's the 1 plus your int mod.
So it's
mod plus
15.
input, so
Yeah,
15,
yeah.
that's all.
That makes more sense. So yeah, okay. I have a feeling one of them's going to fail.
Dope.
Yeah, one of them failed. The other two passed. Just. So hang on, I'll randomly. Where's my d6? Okay, the middle one falls asleep. So this one. He is asleep. How will I show that he is asleep?
Just change his colour.
He is now asleep. That's a colour change. What do you want?
I know, I'm just saying. It's just laughing. Just laughing.
Right, so it's now the last guy's turn. I've also not rolled for Mira, but
She's probably just not going to do anything, useless bitch.
I think she'll say to Thonan when it's going on, she'll say, she's like, I don't want to act right away, but I'm here if anything happens. So I'm like, what's she going to do?
Oh, useful!
Do you know what she is? She's a do-nothing bitch.
She's not.
She is a do-nothing bitch.
She is a do nothing bitch.
She's a wait for shit to get to the point where you guys can't handle it, and then she'll help.
Do-nothing bitch.
Oh well. Well,
Yeah, you scripted the first one. Like, that was pretty heavily scripted for her to do something.
she'll do
So,
stuff.
past that, she's been a do-nothing bitch.
Well, okay, this last guy is going to move up. He's going to look over at the guy who's now like just collapsed on the floor, and he's going to point out a kind of like long sharpened spear and point towards you, who are kind of like on the ground. So he's like got close to you. He can't attack you, but he's like at you and kind of like pointing his spear down, and he says, "Identify yourself."
I just look up at him and say, I am of the Valmiller.
Okay. Well, at the end of the round, I was going to roll Mira's thing, so she gets to add. She gets added. She gets a
A 1.
14.
Because she's a do-nothing bitch.
She got more than you. You can shut up.
I'll at least act on my fucking initiative,
Yeah.
though.
Right.
How does he react when I say that to him, Grim?
So, as you say that to him, he kind of like looks at the other two guys that are still awake, and you can tell that he's like surprised by this. Like that was not what he was expecting at all. Like he was expecting it being like, "We are from Lord Carlington, fuck you," kind of thing. So yeah, he kind of just like looks confused. And the other two guys,
With his confusion, I look at him in the eye and I say, "I assume you're of the Valkeldon. I'm here to see you."
okay, he's even more confused now. He's like, "What the fuck?" So these other two guys that can still act. Actually, no, this guy can. The other guy's asleep. He's going to walk up. So the other guy walks up beside him. He's like, what does he say? He says, It's like, do you have proof of this? Or do you have proof of what you say?
I whistle. and Nishoba would probably bound out. Like, obviously, she's going to be like growling like fuck at the people that are opposite me. But and I would say that this is Mahanai, this is Nishoba. I am of the Valmeller.
Okay. Can you roll a diplomacy? That's it. I was trying to think of the opposite of bluff.
Diplomacy.
The one where you're actually telling the truth.
We don't usually.
Which we don't. Yeah, we don't use that one very often.
There we go.
17. Right. Okay.
Oh, Jesus, nice dude.
No pluses.
Okay. He seems kind of reluctant. They both kind of like look at each other and they seem kind of reluctant. And they're not really too sure what to do. Like they're not. It's not really. Like they weren't. This wasn't really like part of their briefing. Their briefing was just go about, scout the forest, blah blah blah. So they kind of look at each other, and the guy just looks down and is like, although in better times we would trust you, with current events happening, we are unsure. So you must come and speak with our chief.
Perfect. That is who I'm here to see.
Okay.
Makes life easy.
Yeah.
This is like a sawmill.
I'm assuming that like I was almost out of the net when they came over to talk.
Yeah, which they're kind of like, yeah, hang on, why are you like?
They
Are you
chucked the
up
net
for
on me.
a
I'm
lot?
assuming.
Yeah, so you've cut a hole in it. You're just like holding the hole shut. To be like, it's fine, I'm fine. Don't worry about it. Everyone's fine. Right. So yeah, you managed to kind of like convince them, and they kind of walk over. So we're not really using turn order because they're not being hostile right now. The other guy's still sleeping. So this guy's going to come over and try and help him up to try and get him to move. And these two guys are going to like help you to your feet, but as they're doing so, they're going to like slightly restrain you. So not like
Yeah, no, like I would
prisoner style, but just so they kind of like keeping an eye on you, make sure you're doing all right.
Yeah, I would shout, Jonas, it's fine. You can come out. We will go and speak to the chief and explain all.
Okay.
And I would specifically just say Jonas.
Okay. So Jonas,
That's visible.
Jonas, what you doing?
Can I go up to like behind one of the guys that is like restraining Hakon? And what time of day is it?
It's kind of like just after midday, like kind of afternoon.
I just kind of like put my hand on his shoulder and just like, good afternoon, and then just go stand beside Hakon.
Okay. So you're somehow getting from here to round to like here, and just being like,
I'm assuming I can just like sneak
no,
over.
you can do like, but there's a kind of awkward bit where Hakon said like, Jonas, you can show yourself, and then you just kind of stand and wait for a bit, and nothing's happening, and you're just kind of
Well,
like,
I'm assuming that he was moving as we were talking.
Yeah, I'm assuming like
Yeah.
as they're talking, I'm not just gonna stand there watching them get like pulled out a net.
Yeah.
I don't know.
After a brief conversation that he may or may not have heard.
Yeah. So yeah, you just kind of like peer. The guy like jumps, turns around, kind of like lifts his like dagger slightly and looks at you, but then settles
I
himself.
put on and says, whoa, do not worry, sir. He is with me.
Okay. So yeah, he's right. So they kind of like, because it's now got to the point where they're kind of like equal in number. The other guys try to help the guy that's sleeping, so they can't really like forcefully escort you as well as they'd like. But they're kind of like
The one that originally was speaking to me, I would turn to him and say, "Can you take us to your chief now, please?"
yeah. So they like you're just kind of like it's now got to the point where they can't really restrain you, so they're just letting you walk and just kind of walking either side. If you guys kind of walking down, so we don't really need this, so we'll move that just now. It's all gone. The whole forest is gone.
Excellent.
Meanwhile, Mira and Thonan, you see these guys walk up. There's kind of like words are exchanged, things are said. Hakon gets up, gets kind of like helped out of the net he was trapped in. Jonas appears behind some guy. He looks frightened, and then they all kind of like start walking off towards one of the paths that you'd kind of like highlighted was likely where they were going to go, and it was that one.
It's back.
Yeah. Leave it there. We'll leave it there. Anyway, so yeah, you guys are heading off there, and that's kind of what you see. So Mira looks over to you, and it says says Hakon said that he was thought he was related to these people or had some kind of link to them. So do you think that exchanges went well? I mean, it doesn't look as if they're in any kind of immediate danger.
Well, yeah, nobody died. Sure, we'll be fine.
Okay. Yeah, she's like, so do we want to follow, or are we just, what are we doing?
Oh no, I'd much rather just stand here and take in the scenery and observe nature. Of course we're gonna fucking follow them.
Cool. Yeah, so you guys, are you trying to be like stealthy about it, or are you just literally just walking on behind?
I'm always stealthy.
Uh-huh.
I don't think there's much foliage that's shorter than me in this place. I mean, she can do whatever the fuck she wants. I don't control her.
Okay. She turns into a spirit wolf now. I wish she could. Yeah, you guys kind of like wander round through the tree line, so you don't walk into the clearing. You walk like through the tree line towards where they're headed, and then just kind of walk down beside them. Okay, now we can delete this because you're no longer in the clearing. I'm gonna roll. Okay, he didn't see shit. Neither does he. Okay, so yeah, you two, Thonan and Mira are just kind of walking behind them. You're within distance to see them. You're kind of keeping an eye on them, going at roughly the same kind of pace, but the guards don't really seem, or the guys don't seem to like turn around and notice you at all. But yeah,
Probably do notice. These old fucking forest people are always the same. They can fucking smell stuff.
yeah, they can smell stuff from the forest, not gnomes and stuff. I don't know. They don't notice you.
Gnomes-
Regardless, they don't notice you. You don't see them turn
Gnomes
around.
and stuff.
Hey. Gnomes are not like a normal occurrence in the middle of the forest.
Then surely their smell would be weird.
Do you not get like forest gnomes? Are they not a thing? Or is that halflings that have that?
Maybe halflings have
Yeah.
fucking-
Yeah, it's
I
half-
honestly
Halflings
don't.
have it. So, yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway, you head through the forest for another probably like half an hour or so, and you kind of like keep taking like turns, and you can see they're following the kind of like the platform the same way you were. They're just like, but they seem to be like rather than directly following them, as in like there's someone at the top guiding them. They're just kind of like occasionally glancing up very quickly and then just continuing down. So it's not
they know their way about the forest
Yeah.
and they're able to navigate it by just looking around. Yep, cool.
So they head through, and eventually you start coming across what looks to be another clearing. This one is about the same kind of size, but this one is filled with like tents and those kind of little wagon things, and just quite a few people wandering about. And it looks as if it's like this is the main hub that they're currently at. So yeah, you like as they escort you in towards the clearing, you just walk straight out, so they don't really stop or anything. They don't kind of like motion you to stop. They just keep going. However, Thonan and Mira, as you kind of get to the edge of the clearing, you see these guys are walking ahead. You've not really been spotted. You've not been introduced or anything. So, what are you doing now?
So we're at the edge of the clearing.
Yep.
Are they walking into like a fairly fortified encampment?
It doesn't look fortified, but it's busy. Like, there's probably at least like 30 people that you can see going about.
I'm just gonna kind of hang back and just wait to see where they go.
Okay. So you guys walk in. It reminds you a lot of home, or like your
Yeah.
people. It's the same kind of atmosphere, same kind of feeling. You can tell that people are like they're comfortable with the people they're with and the place they're in, but they're not kind of like here for good. Like, this isn't a permanent thing. They're kind of they're all wandering about. They're collecting supplies. They're gathering materials. They're getting stuff from the nearby area to then like support them in this kind of what they're doing. You kind of walk in. You walk past quite a few tents. You walk through the main encampment. There's a large kind of fire area, like a kind of central area where you can assume that they have like social gatherings and they like eat round and all that kind of thing. And across from that, there is a much larger tent that looks like it's made out of a kind of like finer pelt, and it's made it kind of like looks a lot better than the rest of them. And you kind of walk towards that one, and one of the guys that was escorting you just kind of motions and says, "Inside, the chief will greet you," and just points in.
I say thank you and then walk in.
Okay. So, yeah, Thonan, you've watched them go into the camp. You see them kind of go kind of straight through, like from where you are, where you're looking. You can see like directly across the camp, and you can see them go up and then just kind of slightly turn and go into this kind of like a bigger tent at the end. So you know where they are.
Cool. Yeah, I'm just gonna sit here and watch this play out.
Okay. Okay, so inside. Yeah, I assumed. Inside.
Unless there's a brothel.
There's not. I don't think there's a brothel. I don't think they've got like built establishments here. Jesus.
This is the whoring tent.
Yeah, it's like this is where we have the ladies of the forest. They're here for you. You've met the eyes of the forest. Now
I'm
meet.
just gonna sit and let this play out because I've got this idiot with me.
All right. So, inside the tent, there's a lot of kind of like runic looking stuff that's kind of sitting about. A lot of things that look kind of druidic. They look to be either kind of marking kind of things like constellations and kind of seasons and stuff like that. There's just kind of stuff lying on over the desks that kind of mark like they're kind of like the druidic nature of this group and how they're kind of linked to it. There's a lot of kind of there's a lot of stuff that is made from animals, but it's a lot. It doesn't look as if it's been like hunted. Obviously, like it's kind of more part of the ways, part of what they do. It's kind of all taken as like respectfully from the forest, and they don't only take what they need and all that kind of thing. But looking across the tent, there's no real like tables, any kind of like furniture. There's no wood that's kind of like made of furniture. It's just everything's on the floor. There's a couple of people sitting down. There's a kind of larger. I was going to say larger woman. She's not fat. She's just a kind of like big-ish woman who's sitting next to another.
Can I smell her? Can I smell her?
Not from where you are, no.
It's mounting time.
And next to her is another guy who looks kind of fairly sized. He's dressed in Druid tier 2. No, he's dressed in like kind of lots of leaves that are kind of like woven on top of each other. They've got a couple of branches going through them. I think that's Druid tier 2, but
and
Graham, yes.
Would I know? Obviously, I come from like my clan's a matriarchy. Would I know which they are?
They are patriarchy. Like they are kind of the chief. The chief is the guy that's the head of it.
Yeah, cool.
However, it doesn't look as if like the wife is in any less of a kind of standing. She's obviously just not like the head in charge.
Yeah.
But yeah, this guy's got he's got like a mask on that has like the kind of front part of it looks like kind of like a deer or an elk or something, and he's got like the kind of horns on it, and it just goes.
Is Jonas in the tent with me?
Yeah, he's in as well. Like you both have come in, and as you enter, the guy looks up, and he's like, "Visitors, why are you here?"
I'll extend my hand and say, I am Hakon of the Valmeller, and I come to ask you some questions. Okay.
He doesn't get up, but he looks up at you, and he kind of like smiles slightly. He's like, any spy could be told to come in and speak those words. Do you have proof for me?
I do, sir, but I would rather show it to you and you alone.
He kind of like looks around. So at the moment, it's just you, Jonas, his wife, and him.
Yep.
And he kind of looks over at his wife and he says, anything that happens within this tribe, we deal with together. And he kind of looks back at you. Says, as for your friend, that is your choice to make.
I turn to Jonas and say, as much as we are brothers in certain senses, would you be okay to wait outside?
It's going to whap his cock out.
Yeah, I kind of like nod in like a kind of like bowing nod, so just like that, and then just fucking turn around and walk and literally stand right outside the door though.
Cool.
Yeah.
And, like right in front of it as well. Like,
yeah. So outside, the guys that kind of like escorted you here have left, but there's still a couple of people that are standing around the tent, and they kind of stand and look at you. They're not looking at you in a kind of like, why are you here, kind of like hateful looking way, but I don't know. Can you roll a perception check just to see? Because I don't know if there's any kind of like
Me?
knowledge you'd have. Yeah, you. Okay, cool. You can tell that these guys kind of like are giving you a slight kind of distance, but it's not as if they fear you. It feels more as if it's kind of like respectful.
Okay, cool.
So it's almost as if like because of the fact that you're half elf, they're a bit more kind of like giving you a bit more space and being a bit more respectful to you.
Yeah, cool.
So it's just like you can tell that's a kind of like air about it. Anyway, back in the tent.
Okay. Once Jonas had left, I would reach into my satchel and produce the orb.
Okay. As you bring it out of the bag, the kind of like chief's wife does a kind of like kind of thing, and the chief is just like, "I see. I did not understand. I did not realize. I did not realize how like the severity of this situation or whatever." And he says, "Do you know what you hold there, son?"
That is why I've been sent. I've been sent to find out what this is and the secrets that it holds.
Okay. It says, what you hold in your hand is known as the Eye of Desna. It is a powerful and mysterious artifact of your people, and to a lesser extent ours. We are a kind of a further branch of your original clan, but I still know of its existence. It being in your possession, I would assume that you are someone who has been chosen by your clan to go into the Prospect's journey and to help lead them to the end of their goal.
I have.
It's like there's a very high honor for your people, a very high. A lot weighs on your shoulders, and when you can just hear the wife kind of saying like, "You're very brave, very." Very brave. He says, as old as I am, I have not seen everything that this land has to offer. However, in my travels, I have learned some things that may be able to help you with finding out more about the eye. And he says, "Please sit," and like motions next to him.
I would take a seat beside him.
Okay.
Also, at this point, I would put the orb back in my bag, unless he indicated for it to stay out.
Yeah, like as you kind of put it away, he's like, "Please," it's like, we'll need this for what's to happen."
Okay.
So you're just kind of like holding it in your hand, just kind of in front of him. In terms of the size of it, it's about the size of a Dragon Ball.
Ah, right. Okay.
I'm going to use that as like a gauge because it's kind of.
Yeah.
So it's like that kind of like.
Which Dragon Ball?
They're all the same size, you Mongo. I hate
I
you.
want to know exactly.
It's the 4-star because that's obviously the best one.
Yep, there you go. I need an adult.
A Namek 4-star
I
on
have
Earth.
an adult.
No, it's an Earth 4-star. Shut up, Salisbury. God damn it.
Thanks for-
It's the fucking Black Star Dragon Ball. You're all fucked. Right,
Oh,
anyway.
no.
Right.
So,
yes, please.
As
Please
you sit down,
continue.
he kind of looks over at you. He says, "Do you know the priestess's prayer?" And you would. It's like
yeah.
it's
I
kind of
would-
like
I would assume I would.
it's like a lullaby that's sung to children of your people. It's got that kind of motherly kind of thing of the priestesses would sing it to people who are wounded or in care, and it's just a kind of like. It's like the anthem of your people, kind of.
Yeah.
So, like, as he says it, like he knows that you would know it. He says, "To many, this song has comfort. It has protection to it, but to others, it holds some kind of power." It says, and that is what we will use to. What are you laughing at now? I can't see what you're linking because if I move the Skype, it goes all mental.
It's tremendous and very true.
Okay, I don't want to move it though.
Stop with your eyes.
Anyway,
Dragon Ball.
anywho, this is why I wrote all this stuff down because I need to remember it. And you guys are making me lose my place.
Please continue, Graham.
Okay, so the guy kind of reaches behind him, looks through some bags, and brings out a kind of like collection of powders and things and throws them into the fire in front of him, and the fire goes a kind of like light green and starts sparking slightly, and the sparks coming off it are like kind of the same kind of color. And he looks to his wife, and his wife just kind of nods, and she starts kind of like humming slightly, and then he starts kind of, it's not so much singing, but it's like it's this kind of like kind of chant that he does, like a kind of very low chant, and as he starts doing that, the fire starts to kind of swirl slightly, and he says, actually, hold on, I'm just looking at the time. And we'll take a break, and we'll come back when we continue this. So we're back to continue this, but
Bitches.
Next